Hey guys, my name is Icy Cold and I'm a Grandmaster slash the UD level Conquest player, and I've been playing Smite for more than 10 years now. And today I'll be showing you guys what the best starts for every single role is, as well as the best ward spots on the map. Now, I do have a speech impediment, so I hope that doesn't bother you guys. Now, for the carry role, you want to always start at the purple buff every single time. When you clear the camp, you want to go straight to wave. And depending on the 2v2 matchup, you could either get out pressured in lane or you could out pressure them with minions. Now, once the second wave meets here, when the second wave is cleared, whoever has the wave priority here, you always want to go for this mid camp here. The best ward spots for carry is always at these two corridors. Very simple, but the only problem with this is that there's 4 ways to gank the dual lane here, and that's through these corridors or through these teleporters here. Now, I don't recommend putting wards on the teleporters since not every jungler will really use them, and if someone is going to teleport to your lane, then your solo laners should have an idea that they're going to do it, and they should warn you ahead of time, and if they don't, then you should just report them for it. Now, for the support start, there are 2 starts that you can do. One is you start purple buff with the carry laner, or the second one is a bit risky, but if you get Sunder, then you can look to invade their purple buff when it spawns. Now, if you do that, then if you can steal the purple from them as a support, then that will set them behind, but it is very risky because depending on who their dual lane is, they could punish you for it, and depending on who you are, you could get away safely. The best ward spots for support is on all 3 of these objectives, but usually you don't have to ward the gold fairy pit as if your team has Oracle Vision. If they clear these oracles, then you'll have free vision on the gold fairy anyway, so you don't really have to do it unless they have Oracle Vision and your team doesn't.
Your right tower is under attack.
And you also want to ward here when the Pyromancer spawns, or you want to ward on the Fire Giant. If a Fire Giant wards, you want to place a sentry down in the center right here. And for a second ward, you could look to place a deep ward around here. Now, as for the mid lane start, you always want to start the wave. You don't want to help your jungler with any camps at the start, so you can win Smite 1. So let's say this is the start of the game. You always want to start wave first, but depending on their main lane pick, if they have better wave clear than you do, then you either want to play a bit back to not get poked up so much, or if you have the better position here, like let's say this is the first wave, if you're positioned this far up, you can start hitting the wave first with your auto attacks. Because if you think of the wave as one full health bar, the more that you whittle it down before the waves meet, the better it is for you if you have the worst clear. So the best ward spots for mid lane will be right here, right around here, and
Tower is under attack.
And this spot right here, as well as this other corridor. So these 4 spots are the main ones for you to place wards down. Now, sometimes I do place a ward right here in this bush to see if their jungler could be looking for a surprise gank on me. But if I'm on this side of the map, then I would place a ward like right here on the very edge of the grass. And if I was on the other side, I would place right here. Alright, and that's it for mid lane. So now for the solo lane start, if you always want to start at the blue buff with your jungler. Your jungler should almost always help you out with the blue buff. But if you don't have your jungler helping you out, then if you want to solo clear your blue buff, you should at least have a Sunder with you, or your character should be able to clear a camp fast. But if your character does not clear a camp fast enough and you don't have Sunder, then you want to start wave. If you don't get the blue buff at the start, it could really hurt your solo lane experience. as if they have theirs, then they'll hit level 2 first, they'll hit level 3 first, and they could hit level 5 first. And if that happens, then they'll have an early pressure on you, which could potentially ruin your whole lane. So try to make sure that your jungler starts this blue buff with you. And for the ward spots, it's just like dual lane, you want to ward up here and up here as well. So for the jungle role, this is actually quite tricky as there are multiple starts that you can do. I thought about making the jungle role starts into one specific video, but the other 4 roles are very simple to start. Now there are 3 starts that you can do, depending on which camp you want to do. If you want to start the speed buff first, then you have to clear this. If you want to start speed buff, then you should either path up here to these to this ward camp, clear this. Then with this oracle spawn, you clear this, and then you should rotate over to your mid laner, and maybe look for a possible contest on this mid buff. But usually, if you do that start, you'll also give up this mid camp as a result. And if they clear this fast enough, a good enough jungler could punish you for that start and invade your red camp down here. And if they invade this, then that's really gonna set you behind. But the one disadvantage to doing that start is that, well, like what I said earlier with the solo lane, if you don't do your blue start with the solo laner, then it could really hurt them. But if you want to do the sweet start and you want to contest this mid camp, then you should do the speed buff. You should rush over here, clear this really fast. Then you want to do this red camp. Then you should make it in time for when this mid camp spawns. Now this will also help you and your mid laner with whatever starts happening here. But the best start for the jungle role, well, actually not really the best for you specifically, but just the one that you should almost always do, is the blue start with your solo laner. If you do the blue start here, then that will help your solo laner out a lot. You do this red camp here. If you do this red camp, make sure that your mid laner does not split this with you. Otherwise, when you come to clear this, then you will not hit level 2. And if you're level 1 for this mid buff fight here, it could be really bad, and they could easily either seal this or win the fight. Now there's a very selfish start for jungle that I sometimes do. If I say fuck my solo laner, fuck my mid laner, I want to be as far ahead as I can, then I will start the red camp. I will do this ward camp here. I will come all the way to the speed buff. I will clear my speed. I'll do this ward camp, and then I will go to oracles. Now this will get you to level 3.
Your right tower is under attack.
What of these oracles? And since you'll hit level 3 first, you'll be stronger than the jungler. But depending on how fast your clear is, like let's say that you are playing Aladdin. Every single time that I play Aladdin and I do that start, I'm always fast enough to just I go here, I do this camp, I do my speed, I do the word camp here, then I avoid doing these oracles if I'm fast enough, and I rush straight to the word camp if I know that they're in the mid buff, and then I just come to the word camp. And sometimes if they're too slow, I will do all these camps, and I can rotate here and do this camp. Now this is the best start for you as an individual jungler. The red to speed to oracles and maybe up here, but you should almost always start boop up with your solo laner, because if you don't, then it could really fuck them up. Now the best ward spots for jungler, there's almost no true spots like there is for carry, like these corridors. But the best wards for jungler, for junglers, is always deep wards in the jungle. So a ward right here will cover all this path. A ward up here is one of the best wards for you to do if you can pull it off, because you'll get vision on their, not only their speed up timer, but also where their jungler will path. So if the speed up is up and they clear this, if they walk over here, then you will know that. Then you know from the ward that they're gonna rotate this way and maybe look for a gank on your dual lane. If they path down here, you know that they could maybe look for a possible gank on the dual lane. Or if they path over here, then you know that this camps up over here on this side. Now over here, a general ward just right in the center here will cover this whole area, and this is a very high traffic area for your mid laner and the jungler. So this spot and this spot are some of the two best ward spots that you can get. However, one crucial tip is if you can get a ward on this side of the jungle on their camps, then that's also really good. Any deep ward for the jungler, like especially like here, is always going to be good for you. Now I will also cover the wood camp spots for fire giants. I already covered it a bit with my support explanation, so I hope that covers all the starts for you and all 5 roles. Now usually when you are a jungler, you want to buy a sentry ward for when both teams are about to do fire giants. And since you're a jungler, you always want to look for flank angles, which means you should always place a sentry down, like maybe here at this bush here, because if you can sit on a spot where they have no wards up, then they won't know where you're coming from, and you can come in at any single time. So you can place a sentry right there, a sentry like around here, like maybe in the grass too. Or if you want to play from this side, you could place a sentry down on either of these flank angles as well. You do not want them to know where you are as a jungler. You want to stay hidden and wait to play a flank. The support should almost always place a sentry ward in the FG pit, but placing wards on your side of the jungle as well is also fine. But you almost always want to place a ward right here in this bush, because sometimes some teams will have like at least three people hiding in this bush to jump anybody who's careless. Like let's say that the whole team's right here, and just a simple Jingwei, I step up, they all jump me, and I'm just instant dead because I have no vision. And you can avoid that quite easily by having a ward right there. And one very crucial thing is your wards do not cover bushes if they aren't on a bush itself. So if I have a ward placed right here, if someone is hiding in this bush, this ward will not reveal them. So you have to place a ward inside bushes if you want to know if someone is inside of a bush. Alright, I hope that explains everything about starts and wards, and I'll catch you guys next time.